Welcome to Brand Together. Some of you are regulars, and some of you might be joining us for the first time. We will kick things off by just sharing for a couple of minutes a little bit about Community Academy and what we're up to, what you can count on us for. And we'll also share a little bit about what we're working on. And then we are going to get into our conversation with Sam. We'll do a few rapid fire questions to introduce you to her. And then Michelle and I have prepared some questions in advance that we'd like to ask Sam. We'll have some dialogue and conversation with her. And then we will save at least 15 minutes for some Q&A and open discussion towards the end of the call. So we encourage you to take notes and get ready to ask some curious questions of Sam. One thing I really appreciate about her is that she's committed to being a real open book and sharing transparently and sometimes even vulnerably about her founder journeys. So take note of your curious questions. We will love to hear from you towards the end of our time together. I'm just going to share a little bit about Community Academy for those of you that don't know. Michelle and I have been building this business baby of ours for about a year and a half now, maybe even a little longer than that. We started with our inaugural offering, our masterclass, which is an online self-paced journey through learning all about the experiential side of marketing and how to build your brand by growing and building your community first. We led 3 cohorts through our masterclass last year and had some really great results. I think the highlight for us was the live facilitated group coaching sessions that we hosted with our participants who are leaders from a whole bunch of really awesome brands. And one of the things that we learned is that that was where we were able to offer the highest value. So when we brought groups of leaders together, community-focused brand builders together, to share expertise and insights. There was a lot of richness and high value that came from those live facilitated sessions. So we pivoted and have recently completed leading our very first ever workshop series, which we called the Human-Led Marketing Series. We hosted those live here at &Co, which is a co-working office that I'm based out of in Cole Harbour. And we also offered a virtual option for friends to join us via Zoom. And it was, I'm going to say it was like a pretty awesome success. We brought some really great people together for some awesome dialogue, discussion, and facilitated learning. And we're just in the process of discerning what we're going to do next. And Michelle and I have been working on a new offering that we're launching soon, and invite you to sign up for our newsletter if you haven't already. We'll pop the link in the chat so that you can stay tuned for what's next. And if you're interested in learning more about the Human-Led Marketing Series, you are more than welcome to reach out and book a discovery call with us or drop us a line at hello@communityacademy.co. Before we check in, is there anything else that we wanted to share, Mish?
No, I think you covered it. And I just want to welcome anyone who's brand new to anything we've ever offered. And if this is your first ever brand together, we have been hosting these now for more than a full year, which is wild. And it's really our opportunity to tap into those that are out there in the world who believe in the power of community to build brands and to get the conversation going about, how does this way of operating and way of investing in growth have a place in today's world. So we're so excited to have this conversation with Sam. And thank you so much for joining. This will be available. It's being recorded. So for anyone who knows someone who wanted to be here and missed out, we'll be sharing the recording after on our YouTube channel. So I think we'll jump into it. Do I get to introduce this wonderful human, Sam?
You do. And before you do, I'm just going to share our check-in question and invite our friends to say hello in the chat. So you can go ahead and work on this as we're getting to know Sam, but please take a quick moment to introduce yourselves in the chat by sharing where you're joining us from today in the world. And then if it applies to you, please share about the brand or business that you're representing. And finally, we acknowledge that it's a wild and crazy world we are living in. And that inspired this check-in question from Michelle, which is, what is something that is currently bringing you joy? So go ahead and drop those answers in the chat. We'll get things warmed up as we hear a little bit about our friend Sam.
Amazing. Well, how do I even introduce Sam? She's a longtime friend, former colleague, morning hug partner for me in our office at Lululemon way back in the day. But Sam is truly one of, I have coined this and claimed this, one of Vancouver's best marketers, best marketing minds. And this is being proven out by her current appointment at SFU as a marketing professor. Go, Sam. But throughout the years, Sam has left her mark, made her incredible impact at some really well-known and admirable brands, including obviously Lululemon, I mentioned, Saje Natural Wellness. She was at AG Hair Care. I don't know how I'm saying that. But Sam is, yeah, truly a remarkable human and marketer who, in the last 5 years, transitioned to becoming an entrepreneur and a founder. So Sam launched a business called Better Basics, kind of in and around the pandemic time, and has since pivoted and transitioned to a brand new business that we're going to talk a lot about today, which is called Maris Dae. So welcome, Sam. So thrilled to have you here as our guest.
Much for having me, and it's so nice to see so many familiar faces. So many of you just make me want to give you a big warm hug. And Michelle wasn't joking, like that was our daily routine. When we had a goal, when we see each other in the morning, we have to give each other a hug before we got into business. And I feel like that's a good little reminder as we start talking about community, how much relationships matter. And now we're best friends and our kids hang out and we live really close to each other. So you never know what something is going to turn into.
Invest in the hugs, everyone, if you take one thing away today.
They start with a hug. I love that. Mish, you hug me every single time we see each other. And I'm just realizing how intentional that is. And it certainly brings me joy. So thank you for that ritual. I have some rapid fire questions to help us get to know Sam. And I'll start with, what's one word that your friends use to describe you?
You have to say it again because for some reason your headphones don't like the first few words that you say.
Hear me okay?
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah,
just say it
okay. The,
okay
the
before
word
you
is
say anything.
spicy. The word is
Spicy.
spicy. Yeah.
Spicy. Muy caliente.
Mhm.
What's your favorite thing about entrepreneurship, Sam? Oh no, we can't hear the first word that comes out of your mouth.
I know what it is. It's freedom.
Freedom. That's a
Should
core
I say?
value, I bet.
Yes, it is a core value.
Put on your Bose headphones or whatever those ones are.
Oh yeah,
Okay, give
bring
me
us.
1 second. Sorry,
Yeah,
guys.
I
No
believe it's
problem.
her Beats headphones. Shout out Dr. Dre. She's like, I feel like they're
Um,
too much for
while
this.
Sam is doing this, I'm just seeing who's in the chat here. We've got Amanda from Squamish. Hi, Amanda. Connor here representing eLearning U and Junction, of course. Everyone sign up for Connor's newsletter. It's
The
incredible.
best.
Connor, can you pop the link in, please? It's so good.
Do
The
it
brief.
I'll do that.
Yeah.
every Monday for how many years, Connor?
A lot. I think it's well, we just crossed 500 issued, so whatever that is,
That
and
many.
Wow. Okay. No, it's so valuable. Everyone should sign up.
Okay, Sam, can you hear us?
Yes, can you guys hear
Oh,
me
better.
okay?
Yeah, you
Yeah, better. Okay. DJ Sam,
in the house.
DJ Spicy on the ones and
Spicy
twos.
Sam.
Yeah, freedom, core value for sure.
Okay, what's your least fave thing about entrepreneurship?
Loneliness can be really lonely sometimes.
Yeah, gotta work hard to keep the community vibes high as an entrepreneur.
Mhm.
We know. What's something that you cannot live without?
My kids, if I'm being honest, but outside of that, chocolate.
What kind?
Dark, like sea salt caramel.
Me too, Sam. Me
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
What's a fun fact that you can share with us about seaweed?
Yeah, so seaweed is a form of algae and it's one of the oldest living organisms. And that's one fact, but I'm going to cheat. I'm going to give you two. It's so miraculous, this living thing. It is full of antioxidants and anti-inflammatories, and we're discovering all of its potential for our health. So I'm geeking out about skin health, but also gut health, as
Mm.
well as it's like a carbon sink and produces the most oxygen on the planet. So win, 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 win.
Wait, seaweed produces more, is like the
Oxygen.
organism that produces more oxygen than anything else on the
Yeah, like
planet. Whoa.
sucks carbon and then produces oxygen. Yeah. Yeah. Algae as a category as a whole. Seaweed is like a form of algae.
Whoa, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, over to
I'm
you,
seeing
Mish.
Leanne nodding because Leanne grows kelp, which
Yeah,
brings her joy and many
Yes.
others great joy. I love that.
yes, Leanne. We're so glad
Awesome.
you're here. Over to you, Mish.
Okay, we're gonna jump into some questions, Sam. I realized that I mentioned Mari Day, but nobody actually knows what Mari Day is yet. So you're about to find out. So can you share a little bit, Sam, about your founder story? What
Yeah.
inspired you to create Mari Day? What inspired the name?
Yes. Yeah. So Mari Day is a skin and gut biome health company, and we're using BC seaweed to produce products that give you your healthiest body yet. So that's my goal. I want people to feel really alive, really vital in their vessel so they can get back to doing all the things they love in the world. So that's what drives me forward. This business is launching next month with our first few products, so we're still very much in a startup phase. Meanwhile, I'm a professor of marketing at SFU at the same time while I'm working on the business. And as Mish mentioned, this is actually a pivot from a previous business I had called Better Basics. And it's not a complete restart, but it is a bit of a rebuild. And so there were so many learnings we can get into on this conversation, and I'm happy to share as well throughout today or offline about that business. But to give you some insight, it was Better Basics was all about reducing single-use plastic, and we sold different refill products for your home. So we're kind of transitioning it into Mari Day. Oh, then and the name. Okay, the name honestly came to me in a dream, but it is intentional. So I wanted this new business to have a sense of like aliveness and vigor. And the tagline is seize the day. And I wanted people to kind of feel that energy from the brand. So day, the word day had to be in there. Mari comes from marine, but it also is kind of a name, and I feel like she's our muse, and she's French Canadian because we also want to like really honor our Canadian roots. And so the name also is like evoking the type of like persona and person we want to be in the world.
Incredible. Like I'm so sold already, as you know, obviously. Anything you do, I'm so sold on. But Sam, just like as a quick follow-up, like how did you even decide to become a founder of a business in the first place, right? Because we're going to talk in a minute about your career, your red thread of your career, but like where did you get that draw, that pull to launch something of your own?
Yeah. So I had spent, I guess, like 15 years in marketing in an industry that I absolutely love and adore, in the kind of the wellness space. I mean, I started in beauty a little bit, but it was always consumer wellness. And I felt so at home and so fulfilled in that category. And honestly, it was kind of like a personal thing that happened to me that kind of flipped my brain. I think I always had an inkling or a desire to go out and be my own boss, to take the risk, to challenge myself, to do it, and do something really meaningful to me. But it wasn't until I lost both my parents to cancer that it really pushed me to go out and do it. And I don't think I would have had the drive or the will to take the risk without losing them. Because when you realize life is so short, and fleeting, it makes you really rethink your time and your energy and your purpose. And so, although it was like a very hard time, an awful moment in my life, they both were diagnosed with stage 4 cancer a week from each other, and we lost them like 1 year later. So it was a massive transition, but that kind of kicked me in the butt. I'm like, okay, life is too short. I want to do something that I love and that has meaning to me. And maybe in the back of my head, like if we're really gonna do some therapy, it's like to honor them and to make them proud.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm, mm. I've heard you tell that. I've heard you tell that story a lot of times, and you're getting me extra today. Um, I don't know why. But I have a curious follow-up question. My mother-in-law has a similar story where she lost her parents much too early, and within close succession of each other. And I'm curious, like, were these environmental cancers, and how much of like your area of focus is linked to their story?
Yeah. They were both different types of cancers. And I think with so many cancers, it's hard to identify what the crux of it was. But as far
Mhm.
as we know, it was just bad luck. That
Mm,
being said, the irony is I grew up in a household where my mom, especially, was very focused on well-being. And we had the first green roof in Vancouver. We were
mm,
organic, eating from the CSA box from like when we were babies, growing vegetables in the yard. And so I think it was more those value systems that came out even stronger
mhm,
after losing them, and me looking and reflecting back on kind of how I want to spend my time, what matters to me. And I had this feel around like a more wholesome, natural lifestyle. I will say when you're doing chemo, like there are very specific ingredients that they tell you to avoid in your household products or that you consume. And so that really kicked off my ingredient obsession and like reading every back of the bottle, really evaluating what's in my home. And then that then sparred or like kind of seeped into better basics because there's a lot around microplastics and
mhm.
yeah, and PFAS, and then as well the cleaning industry overall and the chemicals that are used. So yes, it influenced it 100%, and I think that wholesome wanting to
Yeah,
play with the earth, make that part of my daily life, seeing the quality of things that are grown naturally. I think all of those were there from probably
yeah,
my upbringing.
yeah,
And then
absolutely.
fast forward to Sam out there on the beach foraging seaweed for her photo shoot to launch the
Yeah.
brand. Everything is, you are living your vision, truly, which is so inspiring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. The red thread in my life hasn't so much been, I don't think, chasing health, although it's become that. I think I was chasing a lifestyle and a culture that I really resonated with. How do I want to spend my time? And I found it in the wellness industry when I first started working at Lululemon. And I was like, oh, these are my people. Like everyone believes we have the same values. There was such a strong culture and community around movement, all these things that I think I couldn't have pinpointed until now. And upon
Mm-hmm.
reflection, I'm like, oh, this has to be part of my life. So yes, that would be the red thread is like wellness culture and wanting to live the life that I want to lead too.
With full
Beautiful.
freedom. Okay, so Sam, you poured obviously. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, great. So you poured so much heart and soul and time and energy and money into building your first business, Better Basics, obviously with alongside your business partner, Caitlin, and others like myself. But like talk us through just how you knew like that how you came to know that it was sort of time to close that chapter, but maybe more importantly, like how you then also tapped into the drive, the will, the vision that was required to then go and start something new rather than saying, okay, I tried my hat at entrepreneurship. Here's how things, netted out. on to the next.
Yeah.
So I'd love to hear, for everyone to hear how that played out.
I had a mentor. I still have a mentor for Better Business, and he'd been in the retail industry for like 50 years. And we went for lunch one day, and he's like, Sam, you have tried everything. It's time to let it go. And with Better Basics. And what was happening behind the scenes, for those of you who are running businesses, we had a cash flow constraint. We had a growth strategy constraint. We were trying to acquire people digitally. It was getting too expensive. We pivoted to wholesale. We couldn't quite get it on the shelves at Whole Foods, which was the goal. And we really put it all into that. And then when I was kind of took a break, I kind of did a very public announcement, actually, was the first step. I was like, okay, what am I going to do? I have all this inventory. I don't have enough cash to refill our top selling products. People are asking me about the products they want, but I have all these other things. So I just went public with it all. Like, the business is struggling. We need your help. We need to sell it all out. And that people showed up for a lot. Like, I was amazed. The community showed up. People were messaging me from all walks of life. Lots of people I knew, but lots of people I didn't know. We sold out of those products. So that gave me a little time and space. And as I was reflecting on the business, I started to really think about why the growth wasn't there. And I think we could blame all those factors, but I think at the end of the day, I really truly believe if you're onto a product that can truly make people's lives better, or service, then the other things will fall into place. And I had to have a really hard look back at what our value proposition was on the product line.
Mm.
So that led me to question, like, is this really what people want? And maybe they say they want, but are they willing to pay for it? So what I then did was sit down with 35 of our customers. I asked our community, is anyone willing to spend some time with me and tell me about your day? So I didn't ask them about our Better Basics product specifically. I didn't ask them, like, would you buy a product at this price in this way? I really interviewed them. I did a customer journey session of those of you who do any user research.
Mhm.
I asked them about their day in a lot of detail, their mornings and their evening routines, what they do, where their friction points are, where their frustrations are. And that gave me so much insight that I felt like I could create something that would help them and make their lives better. And it needed to be higher functioning. Like, it needed to really solve a very specific personal problem, not just a plastic in the world problem, but like for me and my family, a problem. Yeah, and then I heard from her as well, two other insights which really informed this business. I say her because our customer really was kind of like a millennial woman, Gen Z woman. Her only moment in her day for herself is her self-care moment. She's so busy. She's so tapped. That is like her one, like, sigh of relief in the day. And I was like, oh, I want to support that. Like, and a lot of women said their skincare routine. They're like, just a 5 minutes in the morning where I get to put on my like moisturizer is me time. And I'm like, oh, I want more of that for our guest. And then the second thing I said, if you had time, like if I gave you time, what would you do with it? And almost everyone said, spend it outside with the people I love. So I'm like, okay, we need this, whatever I do next needs to promote or infuse a lifestyle where people can get back connected to nature, like spending time outside. So that's my long-term vision for the brand overall. That's why Seize the Day is so important, because our time is so finite and we're so busy. But if we can find little moments where we can connect and go outside and be in nature, whether that's like gardening or even like walking your kids to school, whatever, I think we'll all be better off and happier, and our health will be better too.
Love. That's so interesting that was like unanimous, and I'm not surprised at all. More time in nature with the people I love. I got goosebumps. Sam, tell us more about the process you undertook to capture the insights you needed in order to feel confident that you were building a product and a brand that your community truly wanted.
Yes, and I'm so happy to dig into this. This is what I now teach. So what we took was a concept that comes from product development called lean or agile product development. which is you need to test with users and essentially build with your customer, with your community. You can't just make kind of like assumptions about what they want. And qualitative research gives you insights to uncover deeper needs from people rather than just A/B testing something or me just going in and doing analysis of what's selling the most at Whole Foods, for example. That wouldn't tell me what's really frustrating our customer. So I had to sit down with them. So luckily, we had a community already from Better Basics. So I reached out to that community via our email and social and just asked for volunteers. But you could do it with your friends and family if you don't have a community yet. Just make sure it's your target person. And then the qualitative interviews allow you to have a two-way conversation. So you can ask questions and dive deeper into their real needs. So I did 35. I'll give you a few tips. I recorded them all. This is where AI came in handy because you need to code every interview. So I coded them all. I used a framework called Jobs to be Done. And I looked at what are her social needs, what are her functional needs, and what are now I'm forgetting, her pains, her frustrations. And so we plugged those all in and then kind of consolidated the data to give us those insights. So yeah, there was a data element to it, but mostly it was listening. I think just deep listening and really paying attention. I realized through the conversation, she never once said reducing plastic in her recycling bin was a huge pain point for her. And that was our whole messaging with the business. Okay, we're not really solving, it's something I want to solve in the world. I think I can still solve it with the business, but the business still needs to offer something else. What's the other thing that we can give her to make her day easier, better?
Sam, was there anything that you did? I'm just thinking about the way you operated Better Basics, the way you built what you did build, the community that you built there. What do you feel like you did right with nurturing that community that allowed you to confidently then tap back into them? And even honestly, right now, what you're doing, you're bringing them along for this journey, right? You're not starting from zero with Maris Dae. You're actually endeavoring to bring your community along into this new thing and enroll them in it, right? So what did you do right to give you that opportunity now that you have?
Yeah, well, I think when I took kind of the pause on Better Basics, I did evaluate what are my options. I'm could close the company, go back to my corporate career. I really, really thought about it. And the thing that kept me up at night was this community of people that I built relationships with. They weren't customers, they were friends. It changed my life for the better. And I just couldn't walk away from that. So with Better Basics, we did do a lot in person. We did do a lot with other founders. We had a mission, and there were lots of people who were excited about the mission, and we could kind of partner on things together. And so we built really intentional relationships. And when I was struggling and made it public, a lot of those people showed up and they reconnected and said, how can we help? What can we do? So I feel like there was something there from Better Basics. There was a heartbeat, there was a community, there was a culture, and I was like, these are my people. I'm just not selling the right product. I was like, I just need to listen to them better and solve that piece, which I feel now that I've done. And fingers crossed. I will say as well with the product development cycle. So with Better Basics, I just wanted it to be perfect. I came from a senior marketing career. I knew how things needed to look and feel. We launched with 50 SKUs. We had, we were paying for ad spend immediately. We had our 3PL. We were too operationally expensive for what the brand needed to be at that stage. And so that leans into this whole thing about building in public. So now I'm okay, that doesn't resonate. What resonates is people being vulnerable and sharing the inside scoop, and people want to build. People were keen to give me an hour and talk about their day. So many people were keen to test the product. So that was the next stage. I forgot to mention, once I've done all the interviews and started developing the product, I did 4 rounds of user testing and initially reached out to people I know who are kind of curators in the skin body wellness space And then after that to our community, like, does anyone want to try this? Give me feedback. And they, so many, probably 75 people were like, yeah, I'll try it. Ship it to me in New York. I'm like, okay, look, I don't know. Okay, I'll send you a bottle, like a label, handmade, like it's not professional looking at all. You might hate it. I might change my mind tomorrow. Like it's very, I guess it's vulnerable in that sense that it's not polished, but people want to be part of that. They want to be a part of that more than if I just did it all behind the scenes and then went to market and launched it. And so that was a huge learning through Better Basics and how I'm approaching it differently. Like I'm just sharing all the good, bad, and the ugly, even if my hair is not done that day and I just look totally rattered, like tattered, I'm still going to go on social media and talk about what happened that day. And so being a little more honest, vulnerable, bringing people along, and then listening to them.
I mean, I think it's brilliant and I think it's working. Um, that's my sense is that the way in which you, again, with Better Basics, approaching with a much more sort of polished and like, you know, showing up as more evolved than perhaps you were as a business at the time, like versus how you're building it now, one bit of feedback at a time, one vulnerable video on social media at a time with your hair in a messy bun.
I was going to say
Um,
it feels awkward. And I think the only thing holding people back is themselves because everyone else in the community is like, give me more of that. But it's like our own ego gets in the way and we want to look perfect and say the perfect thing.
Yeah.
does it feel now that you've done it as much as you have, does it feel less? Is it
No,
easing?
it's still so cringe when I watch myself. Oh God. Um, that I think that what feels less is when you hear a response and remember that. So I'm using social media to build community, and it's about a two-way dialogue. It's not me blasting things out there and never responding. So when it feels great is when people are actually like giving feedback and influencing my decision making and supporting, and that is so cool. Like I did a poll on the bottle designs and the bottle colors, and there was like 100 people who voted on the bottle colors. I was like, okay, well that's done. Decision
But
made.
I think it raises a good point that because you're in the habit of it, because this is what you're establishing as the way of being, right? As the founder, you're really putting yourself out there. It's so natural for you to then tap into your community to ask the questions to actually get a response versus a brand who might, be sitting in a boardroom around a table saying like, we should poll our audience. And they've never interacted in that way before. Like that's destined to fall flat, I would think. So, I guess all that to say is vote of confidence for the way you're approaching things.
Mm.
I think we connect with people more than brands. And especially building a brand today where people are just so fatigued with like the amount of ads and they're in an attention deficit and we're just like tired and skeptical
Yeah.
generally. And so I'm like, how can you create meaning? And I think a human to human is how you create meaning. But yeah, it's scary and vulnerable sometimes for you. And also what was scary and vulnerable was like you kind of create a brand and you can kind of hide behind a brand a little bit like, oh, this is everybody. This isn't just me. This is that separate entity from me. It's a lot scarier to put yourself out there as a face of something if it fails because it's attached to you.
Mm. Yeah.
So even more kudos to you. And Shell, our resident social gal, social expert, she's saying that when you're feeling cringe, you're doing something right. So
Okay. All right. I'll remember that. Thank you for that. I don't think that ever goes away.
No.
I think that's just like human nature. We're always a little bit scared when we put ourselves out there.
Yeah. Yeah. And yet it's so relatable and refreshing, and a way of creating a feeling of belonging. It's special. I am thinking about, do you know Sam? If you don't, I'm gonna try and facilitate a connection. Do you know Allie from Cream Pony?
I've seen her content, but I don't know her. But yeah, would love to meet her. She's building in public.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know exactly, and I'll drop her Instagram link in the chat, but she does I forget what she calls it. It's got a clever name, but she does like short and sweet live interviews with founders. And the spirit of the conversation is like what's happening behind the scenes. Like it's like behind the scenes without anyway. I feel like you two need to meet and have a conversation. Because you're like somehow neighbors and also building in public.
Yeah,
Um,
if you know, like Midday Squares is a great company to look at, obviously, if you guys don't know them. And then the pickle company, Pickle Girls, do you know the one I'm talking about?
no.
Oh, I'll find the name and I'll send it to you so you can follow up. But they're really good and they just bring you along all their mistakes. Cow Dog Coffee in Vancouver.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
We'll drop these in the chat. I want to ask you, you mentioned how you have leveraged AI as you've been growing your business. I want to ask you two questions and you could like answer them both or you can pick which one you like best. How are you not using AI?
Mm.
And how do you think that AI is going to shift the future of the wellness industry?
Okay. Well, I do use AI every day and it's made I'm basically a solo operator at this point.
Hmm.
It's made my operational efficiency so much faster. I actually use it as a sparring thinking partner a lot
Hmm.
when it comes to business decisions. But what I don't use AI for is a LinkedIn or blogs or any writing. If I'm being honest, I'll let it like scrub it, but I just find it loses its soul. And there was actually a study that I just saw that compared, thousands of human written blogs versus AI blogs, and the human written blogs still had like a 5x engagement rate on them. So there's just something about just a bit of the way we yammer on, which is how I write now. I don't even review it. I just like yammer on, like like get it out there and then post it.
Hmm.
Um, and then sorry, what was this? Oh, what's the future of
How do you
AI?
Yeah, well, how do you think how do you think AI will influence the wellness industry?
Yeah. Oh, I think for the best. So I work with a lot of students right now. We're also in university, and they are that generation that grew up with social media, and they're so plugged in, they're to everything digital, that there's a real need for a digital detox. And I was reading a McKinsey study actually about the perception of AI amongst the Gen Z and the Gen Alphas. And
Mhm.
they are still very skeptical about it. They don't believe that it will replace real relationships, and they're craving human interaction so much. And imagine human interaction like outside physical time with your buddies, like that, I honestly think could solve so many problems in the world. So I think it will be good for the wellness space in that we need it to balance all of the efficiency and all of the screen time that we obviously will also benefit from. And we just need to find like a good balance of those two things. And I am noticing that just the inauthenticity of AI, like in written word, but also visuals, it doesn't resonate. So we will still see, I think, people turning back to these very real, raw conversations. We'll still use like our digital platforms, but in ways where we know it's a real human. Like, this is great, it's live.
Hmm.
It's not a bot talking. And so I think even more so, we'll have to look for different channels where we know that it's a real human to human interaction because so many channels are now just like flooded with AI slop.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so interesting how you framed that just a little differently than I've been thinking about it, but like the wellness industry as an antidote to the like what I'll call like AI and just like information overwhelm. Yeah, love that.
The stress and anxiety, that's a real problem right now as a consequence to how we communicate
Mm,
Mhm.
all online. Yeah.
yeah, beautiful.
So
Thank you.
Sam, knowing that and knowing that I think this is going to be our last question and then we'll open it up. So everyone get your questions for Sam ready. Um, so knowing this, knowing how you can leverage as a founder AI tools to, operationalize your business and just make things more efficient. But like when you think about you're launching this business, it's coming up in a month, and you need to be able to show growth, yet you don't want to end up with this same over reliance on like spinning your wheel in the hamster wheel of, pouring money into paid or what have you. How are you looking to leverage community as a strategy as you bring Mari Day into the world?
Yes, love that. So this is really behind the scenes of the conversations that we're having, like how are we going to grow this business? I Advertising is just not work. It will work in conjunction with other things, but I think it just doesn't work the same way as it used to because of all the things we just said. So I think it's going to be a slower build, but a more intentional build for me, really around community partners who care about the same value set that I care about. So I'm going to be very generous with gifting as a strategy. So just getting the product into people's hands. And I really am focused on not just like creators or influencers, but also real people within my community who are experts in wellness. So, for example, naturopathic doctors, yoga instructors, acupuncturists, massage therapists, like people like that who are supporting wellness in their day to day. And I don't think they get a lot of free gifts from brands. And then, yeah, just really events and community and trying to create a culture of a certain lifestyle around Marie Day.
Like,
We're
what
gonna
would be something that would fit the Mari Day lifestyle that like your community could participate in?
One day there'll be a Marie Day retreat, and we will all go and we will hike and jump in the ocean, and clothes will be up. No, I'm just kidding. Um, yeah, that. I want to do a challenge, like spend 10 minutes outside a day. It has nothing to do with selling product. I just want to promote certain values. I would love to, yeah, work with other studios, wellness spaces, invite people into their classes and help promote their businesses as well. Um, we have a naturopathic doctor now on our board, and I want to work with other experts, scientists, health and wellness experts to bring education to everyone and help support them in making decisions about products, but also just their health as we're aging. We're going to talk about perimenopause. We're going to talk about hormones. We're going to talk about the connection between your gut and your skin biome. So, creating as well just a space where people can come to rely on information and support their well-being.
Mm.
Well, I can't wait. I'm so excited. Um,
Thank you. I'm excited too. I'm nervous and it's
and
also
glowing, by the way. Bauman
what's my
has
skincare
made a
routine?
point of calling out your glow. Sam, you
Okay.
you are you are a product a nerd, a skincare product nerd. So
I read every ingredient. I didn't mention as well, I had a 5-year infertility battle after I lost my parents. Okay, so the first cancer, okay, no endocrine disrupting ingredients, no carcinogens in the house, or no carcinogens, and then fertility, no endocrine disrupting ingredients. So it's like no phthalates, no parabens, no fragrance, no chemical sunscreens. I really cleaned it all. So what am I using? Brands I love. There's a brand called Bioessence, I don't know how they
mhm.
say it. It's at Sephora. I think they make a really good face serum, and they're actually designed by bioscientists who make the squalane, and it comes from plant. And squalane previously in old world used to come from shark, so it was very um, environmentally unfriendly ingredient to use, but they came up with a way of using it from plants. So I love them. I love Dew Skin. Dieux. They have a great moisturizer. I can send you a list.
And some of those eye patches that we all
Yeah,
could benefit from.
they have the eye patches. Yeah, thank you. I can send you guys a full list. A cleanser, I like an oil-based cleanser, and there's a small business called Noosa that makes a really nice oil cleanser as well.
Mm.
Mhm.
So yeah, I
Yes,
use
we all want
everything.
to access your glow. Plus Mari Day.
Marie Day skincare, it's coming next year, this year's body care, and we will be bringing it. And we have the added benefit of local seaweed. We harvest it all on Vancouver Island. We're using two different strains of seaweed. We distill it and ferment it in our lab. Part of this business and rebuilding the business, I wanted scientists on the team. So they have an equity stake in our business. We're building it with them together. And they're just brilliant scientists, but they need me to tell them what the customer wants and how to build the product. So I sit in the lab with chemists. I'm like, no, 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 no. Like, make it more smooth, or like, the scent is not working. We need to go back and like redo all the scents.
And they're like,
They
we will.
hate me. They're like, no, you're not that bad. I'm like, sorry, this is version 100. But no, it's so fun. So, so fun.
And that's what it takes, right?
Yeah.
I want to open it up. Who wants to either jump off mute, throw a question in the chat that we can represent for you? What else are you curious about? We have Sam ready to spill it all.
Well,
Jump in.
hi, I'm Christina. I have a question for you. What do you do personally as a wellness day-to-day routine to stay up and create this beautiful product?
Thank you for asking that. I have two kids now. So one is 2 and one is 4. I was building better basics with a baby in my arms. So finding balance is a real challenge, but I said freedom because I believe businesses can be built around your life, not instead of your life. Like I really want to champion that, especially for parents who need to be present. And I believe in building really present, really strong relationships with my family. So some things that I do, I don't work in the evenings a lot, to be honest. Like I really try and shut down and make dinner and have dinner on the table together as a family almost every night. With my husband and I, we kind of like trade off on exercise mornings. So I find movement is just so, both of us, it's really critical to us, and he's on the call. But one thing we've been doing that has worked really well too is on our date nights, we have an exercise date followed by a real date. So like we fit the fitness in and walking and biking and getting an e-bike. So I bike my kids to school. So I just really fitness outside time like has to be part of our day some way. Yeah, and then just eat really wholesome foods. I learned to shut it off. Like there's always a million tasks, a million on your brain. And I guess I think sometimes you have to like be okay with that list not being accomplished. Just prioritize the 3 things that need to be done. Be okay with lack of perfection. Like I'm not going to be able to get through the spreadsheet or design the email in 10 hours. I have to do it in 1.
That reminds me of a dear friend of mine, Steph Corker says, done is better than perfect. And I leverage that at like almost daily because I'm like a recovering perfectionist. Like I really like things to be like just so. And I've really come a long way with like complete is better than perfect. And you can always iterate it later. But yeah, love that. Love what you just shared.
Sherry is curious about beyond this like investment and connection with your community, what advice do you have for someone who's creating a new product? How should they prepare financially, specifically, to increase their chances of success?
Great question. I learned the hard way. So there's some business fundamentals around unit economics, how your MOQs, how many units and how much inventory you need to hold in any one given time in order to like operate your business. And so my main message as I was rebuilding, and I had to completely rebuild our supply chain, was lean. How can I create a full operating system supply chain that was super lean, allowed us to iterate quickly, didn't have to hold a lot of product in one place. I had a really complex supply chain before with a lot of international suppliers, which you would think would keep your costs down, but they required high MOQs. We had to pay for shipping. So in the new business, it's really around building locally, building small, and we'll scale up later. Like I just wanted this really lean innovation hubs. So finding the right partners, which I found, these two chemists who operate a lab who are building this business with me, and they can also produce my products, was like a huge unlock.
Mm.
And your margins.
Margins, we doubled. So by producing in Canada, which you wouldn't expect to hear that, but
Yeah.
it's partly because we created a partnership deal with our producers. So we're not just buying from them, they have a stake in the business. And so they're willing to put in the time and effort for much lower cost. And then, like I said, around like how much volume of stuff we can move. And the other benefit of that, and this is what I really want to build in the culture, is innovation. You can't innovate if you're just kind of stuck with your first product line. Like there's going to be so many learnings as you go, which is why tech companies are so great because you can just like, oh, we're just going to, edit our whole website tomorrow, but this is a physical product. So if I have 5,000 and I want to change it, I have to sell 5,000 before I can change it again.
Mm. Nice. Discipline. Let's go, Lizzie, and feel free to hop off so we can hear you. And then we're going to go to Johnny and then Morgan. We have 3 questions in the queue.
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Lizzie. I'm in Atlanta. Number one, I want you to ship to Atlanta. So that's not really a question, it's just a statement because I like everything you're saying.
Oh, thank you.
But what I wrote in the chat was, how do you reframe? I've been entrepreneurial before. I know a million entrepreneurs. I love the creative energy, but how do you reframe uncertainty on the more challenging days to get back to your why? Because some days are gung ho and some days are, what the heck am I doing? And all of those things. But how do you reframe? Do you have kind of like something that you've cultivated for yourself where you nurture yourself that way?
Yeah, thank you, Lizzie. And we will ship to Atlanta. And I just thank you for joining. It's so nice to meet you. I have a growth map on my wall here, and I wrote down, where did I write it? Okay. The theme for my year is bold connections and kinetic energy. So I am not selling product or service yet, right? I'm in innovation phase, which is so fun. Where it gets uncertain and scary is when you're trying to sell and people are not buying. You're knocking on doors and they're not answering. And so basically, I want to manage my energy and always hold the enthusiasm because I do think that's going to unlock the potential for the business. A lot of it is going to take me personally reaching out to people, telling them about this business, getting them excited about the story. And if I'm uncertain or unclear, it's not going to resonate. So I think it's just like a little bit of deep soul searching, really having a clear North Star. Like I know what I want to build. And then I'm just my kids have this book and it talks about fear, and it's like sometimes fear is bad, is good for you when you're afraid of a lion or a tiger, but sometimes fear gets in the way and you need a bit of guts or gumption. You kind of just need to go for it. So I'm just kind of tell it to shut up. And I'm just like, I'm going for it. Yeah.
Good answer. Love it. Thanks.
Yeah, I love that. Choose not to listen to it. Okay, let's go to Johnny.
Hi guys. Hey Sam,
Hi, Johnny.
Krista and Mish, and good to see everyone. Sam, my question is, well, actually, first thing is super excited to follow you along in this journey, and can't wait till next month. So if we fast forward, maybe a few months from now, how will as a marketer, as someone who has built many communities before, what are you looking for and what's the sense of community that you want to see start to sort of coalesce and come together in conversation as you sort of, launch through these next few months?
Yeah. So once we actually have products, we've been doing a lot of outreach without product. I think that actually opens a huge door around community because we can physically interact with people in a whole different way. And so what in 3 months from now, when have a product line, a physical product line, I want to create in-person experiences where people can try it and buy it or we gift it in the right circumstances. So I think that will change a little bit of our marketing strategy and that we can introduce them in real time to a brand that truly does exist with a product line. Yeah, and then in the longer term, okay, well, I'm going to geek out here on the vision because I know I am going to build our own facility so we can continue to innovate new products with partners. So building with community right now is listening and building products and testing products. Building with community in the long run is going to be like some person, some brand who cares about this space and wants to create their own versions of seaweed-based products can come and work with us, and then we can like reimagine this world of skin and gut health with in lockstep with partners. We'll need to do a fundraise for that.
Capital expenses.
Probably 2 million. If anyone knows anyone. That'll be a 3-year goal.
Morgan, do you want to take us home here? We have a few minutes left. And if you have to hop, by all means. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Just wanted to say too, I love what you're building and congrats on launching next month. My question just super quickly is I totally agree that like done is better than perfect and showing up at all is better than not at all. But I think I can also definitely relate to the feeling of perfectionism or getting stuck on something because it's not quite how you envisioned. So my question would be, in the earlier days, how did you overcome that feeling, or maybe where or when did you know to maybe delegate certain things to other people?
Well, the delegation part is easy because we're a startup and you got to do everything. I remember I was in a meeting once and they're like, don't wait for anyone to save you. So if you're waiting for like the perfect social media person to come around and like just produce content for you, just they're not coming because you can't afford them. So it's like, okay, I will be doing it all, and it's not going to be the best at all of the things that I need to do. And so then it comes back to more of that soul searching piece where you just need to, set a bar, but kind of like accept as well that you've put in your very best effort and you just need to keep moving forward. One thing I find that helps is moving forward. So like, put something out there. Maybe it's not perfect, but tomorrow is a new day. Like now I get to do a new one. And then the next day I get to do a new one. And then I get to do a new one again. And every time it's getting a little bit better and I'm getting faster at it. So I think knowing that it's a process to get to where you want to be as well. Like, okay, we have a mood board. That's where we want to be. It's not going to be that tomorrow.
Beautiful. Okay, look at that, 11:59. We are so grateful for each and every one of you carving time out from your day to join us. And Sam, thank you for being willing to show up and share it all. Okay, friends, a couple quickie calls to action. You can follow Sam and Maris Dae on Instagram, LinkedIn. What other channels should we be looking for you on?
I'm on TikTok. Maris Dae is MARIS.DAE.
Beautiful. We are going to, as we mentioned, we'll record this conversation. We are recording it and we will upload it to our YouTube channel. So you can sign up for our newsletter and or follow us on social so that you can share the link to this conversation with your friends. And if you are curious about how you can work with Michelle and I via Community Academy in terms of brand building strategy that is relationship based and experiential, you can find us at communityacademy.co. And then we do this every month on the second Thursday at 11 a.m. So hopefully we'll see you again very soon. Oh, and by the way, Michelle, who do you want to hear from this year that is a community first leader? Let us know. And maybe it's you. We're looking to build out our roster of community first leaders. Thank you so much,
Friends,
So
Sam.
nice
have a
to
rest
meet
of
you
your
all.
day and week, and
Beautiful
thanks so much,
day.
Sam.
Nice
Bye,
to meet
everyone.
everyone. Thanks.
Thank you.